What's good? What? Don't slurp boba in my intro. Anyways, what's good, YouTube? What's good, y'all? We back with another video talking about the top 5 best characters to build for free-to-play players. So, free-to-plays, I know you're out there, man. There's a lot of free-to-plays out there, and let's just get straight into the video. I want to show y'all who you guys should be building and who I recommend for you guys to build. And if we're just gonna go ahead and start it off, number 5, we got Barbara. Barbara's a very strong character. She's not constellation dependent at all, really. I wouldn't say she's constellation dependent at all. Her healing is pretty good. She can go really good with Dendro right now, which you can use the Dendro Traveler or Coalesce. If you're like completely free to play, if you're not, then maybe you have a different Dendro character that you can use. I hate him coming up if you save him for him. I know a lot of people assume that you guys have no 5 stars. I know that you do, because I used to be free to play and I used to have 5 stars too. But Barbara's very good with Dendro right now. She can be good in an Electrocharge team. You can even use Vape with her if you're just using her as a healer. But Barbara's is very strong right now. But moving on to number 4, Sucrose. Sucrose is an amazing character because she buffs your entire team. A good value 4-star is usually going to be a great buffer because their damage can kind of fall off due to the scaling of 4-star characters. 5-star character scaling is usually higher. I wouldn't say she's not constellation dependent at all because her constellations are good, but she's been on so many banners that if you're free to play, you more than likely have her depending on what you summon on. So if you do have her and you do have her constellation sum, then she's going to be very, very good to buff your team because she gives your team Elemental Mastery, which is very, very good right now, especially because of Dendro and the way that Dendro uses Elemental Mastery to deal more damage, because Dendro is very, very good with Elemental Mastery and level. And this character is very low investment as well. All you gotta do is get the Verdus and Vera set on her with Elemental Mastery, because she shares Elemental Mastery with her teammates to pay based on her Elemental Mastery. If you do that, then she's gonna be an amazing character. She's gonna be very, very good for your team. Sharing that Elemental Mastery with them, even without that, she can still decrease the resistance of characters with the VV set and be very good buffing your team, making your teammates stronger. And she's gonna be able to output not much damage, but she's gonna be able to make you output way more damage. And going into a character that's very good with her, we have Xiangling. Xiangling is the best 4-star pyro DPS in the game, easily, without a doubt. Xiangling can do so much damage with her burst, and Xiangling is not constellation dependent, I would say. Not very much. You can get a decent amount of value out of her constellations, but we just level up her talents, like her Power Tornado. Mostly her Power Tornado is going to be what you need to level up. It's going to give you massive amounts of damage with vapes or with melts and stuff of that nature. And she's very good with Sucrose because she lowers that resistance and gives you more Elemental Mastery, which then increases your elemental reaction damage. It's a lot, but she's very good. And he's good with a lot of people on this list, which makes her even better because you can use them as a team, which just increases the value of the entire list in itself. But yes, as a pyro carry, she can be very, very good, or as a support burst character. Moving into the second character, I'm gonna have to say it has to be this guy right here, Xingqiu. He's really just elite. Now, he's a little bit more constellation dependent, I would say. He's a little bit more. His constellations make him way better, in my opinion. But you don't need them for it to be great, because his output is already great with no constellations. So just imagine his output with constellations if you do have them. He's just very, very, very strong. And him and Xiangling also, they can use the same domain together, which makes their farming way more efficient. So you can farm the Emblem domain because that's the best set for both of them. If you farm that domain, you're going to be able to get both of their sets and maybe another character set, because the Emblem domain is such a great domain because there's so many characters that use the Emblem set. And yes, like I said, he is pretty constellation dependent, kind of, Like, he gets a lot of value from the constellations, but you don't need them per se to make him be very good. Rain Cutter is one of his best ability, his talent, his elemental burst. It just deals so much damage and applies Hydro at such a rate where he's one of the best Hydro characters in the game, I would say. Ranking over characters like Child, ranking over characters like Ayato. Just at his Hydro output, I say that he's very, very high. If you saw my character tier list, then you will see how high I have him ranked. I actually have him in the top tier of the game with only a few other characters, even as a free-to-play. He's very, very, very strong. So I'm gonna go over some honorable mentions now. I think Fischl is a great honorable mention, but she is pretty heavily constellation dependent. You can use her with no constellation, you can use her with a few constellations, but when she gets to that C6 is when she really, really peaks. She really peaks at C6, and it's very, very strong. Also, her voice lines are pretty funny if you heard that right there. The Princessin, yeah, it's pretty funny. But yeah, Fischl is very strong. It's just her constellations, you just really need them for her to be very, very strong. And that's kind of sucks because she was released back in the day. I think she was released twice, maybe, where you could get her for free. If I'm not mistaken, you let me know down in the comment section if she was released twice, but I can definitely say she was released once. It's completely free to play from an event, and that did help. If you need a constellation, for it, that does help. But you know, like I said, she's very constellation dependent because of her burst and everything like that. So that does kind of suck, but so that's why she's not on the list per se. But she's very, very strong. Don't get that messed up. She's top tier in the game too. Not top tier, but like right below that. Ningguang is another character I put in honorable mentions. It's arguable that she should be in honorable mentions or not. I'm putting her there because of her ability to do massive amounts of damage with Geo. Massive is maybe an overstatement, but you know, that's pretty much it. Veda is just another character that should definitely be on the honorable mentions. Veda is very, very, very strong, especially going up against multiple enemies, but she's also constellation reliant for her first and second constellation at least. Second constellation makes it to where her Stormcaller, I think is what it's called, can bounce between two more enemies, and that makes it way stronger. And it does two more jumps between enemies, and it makes you do way more damage with that. Or Stormbreaker, sorry. It's very, very strong. But she can't be on the list because of that, and I don't think she's as strong as these other characters I have on the list per se at where they are. But let's move on to number one, Bennett. So everyone knows Bennett. He's the best 4-star in the game. He could argue he's the best power character in the game. I wouldn't take that argument because I thought I got Hu Tao up there, but there's people that don't like Hu Tao. If you don't like Hu Tao, this character is the best power character in the game, not for damage, but for buffing your team. But he does need his first and second constellation to be peak Bennett. But Bennett's so unreliable on his constellations. His constellation 6 is trash. He's built completely opposite of everybody else in the game. His constellation 6 is trash, and his constellation 1 and 2 could be his constellation 6 if they combined them. It would be ridiculous. His constellation 1 and 2 are very, very, very strong, and more than likely by now you do have those constellations. But it's very strong because he gets more damage to his team, and he's just a very, very, very strong buffer for his teammates, making them very, very strong. As I said in the beginning of the video or earlier on, that these 4-star characters or free-to-play characters, they're very strong at buffing their teams or dealing a decent amount of damage for being a 4-star character, which can actually carry you through different events in the Abyss and stuff of that nature. But yes, Bennett is very, very, very strong. He should be ran on almost every team in the game in the Abyss. If I could run 2 Bennetts, I would. There's only a few characters in the game that don't want him on their team, like Hu Tao, but she wants to stay below that low HP threshold. But his damage buffing ability is just very, very, very strong. And that's why I have Bennett at the number 1 ranked character for free-to-play players to get. And if you're pay to play, you already know that you have Bennett probably level 90, maxed, everything like that. But y'all know what time it is, man. If you like this video, like, comment, and subscribe. Look, we're about to hit 100 subscribers soon, guys. We're at like 75, I think. Bro, let's get to 100. But if you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, and I'm out.